Hello everybody, peace, light and love, and welcome to another River Talk. So what are we talking about today? The Eurovision last night. So although yogis are supposed to be more inner, I saw the Eurovision yesterday. I was a bit disappointed because what happens is in yoga we talk about three types of energies. So let me talk about that. There is the high energy, right? Sattvic energy, which is spiritual energy. Then you have the Rajasic energy, which is the competition. It's when you want to compete, which is sort of this energy. This is Rajasic energy. And then there's, Tamasic, the very low energy, which is alcohol, junk food, Iceland. Yes, Iceland. That was a dirty trick you played with the Palestinian flag. And let me tell you why. For many people, the Palestinian flag symbolizes terror and attempts to delegitimize Israel. And while as a yogi, I am not identified with a nationality or religion necessary, I think in the conflict, it's really not fair to come to a country that just a week before had rockets killing 4 citizens, including a Muslim, and just see it as a one-sided thing. Palestinians are victims. We're all victims in the conflict, especially since hundreds of rockets were thrown at us. And we have our own inner enemies and critics who are not seeing the fact that the Palestinians are not people that have no responsibility. And yesterday I was at a talk. I wanted to speak about what I heard from the rabbi's wife, really intelligent woman, and she said, you know, Judaism asks everybody to take responsibility for themselves. So instead of trying to change the other side, you take responsibility for yourself. So if your neighbor, let's say, has like a window and you don't want to look in their apartment, you build a wall and you take responsibility about what you can do. And I think it's really odd that this country, Iceland, who is really doesn't have anything near what we have here in Israel. War after war after war, the stress, the rockets falling. And I'm really sad that the people on the south, they were invited, the children that live under rocket attacks and sirens on a daily basis, always having fire bombs thrown and having to go to shelters. They were invited for the Eurovision and then they were not let in. So I think it may be karma. How can you not let in children who live under war conditions into this festival to have them distract a little bit from their day-to-day stress? It just shows you that this is very Rajasic sort of energy of competition. Songs shouldn't be a competition. If it's a beautiful song, it doesn't need a competition. I'm very disappointed Denmark didn't win, because in my opinion that was the most beautiful, uplifting song. Love is forever. To say that loving you is a losing game, first of all, I need to speak about Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse wrote a song, Love is a Losing Game. It's the most depressing song ever. And he just took the words Love is a losing game and made it into his own song. Loving you is a losing game. And I think it's too close. So he's a sweetheart. He's a very sweet guy, the Dutch guy, but he's not very original. He has a beautiful voice, a beautiful spirit, but I would have liked to see an uplifting song win. I love the ABBA song. I love songs that are uplifting. And Hallelujah was uplifting. Netta was definitely uplifting. And we need songs that lift our spirits into joyous places, not the sad. And this is Tamasic, the low energy of depression. We don't need that. We need to sort of lift our energies up. That's what I try to do with yoga, to try to lift my energies and to balance the chakras, the energy centers. And I really don't understand why the Dutch song won, except he's a really sweet guy. But the Norwegian song, that was an uplifting song. It was so beautiful. And it was so ethnic. It combined songs from the original people of Norway, those people of Norway, the indigenous people of Norway. And I think the people that support Palestine should know that statistically, when the Jews were living here, a lot of the Arabs who lived here, they were indigenous people for sure, lived here for a long time, but there were also a lot of immigrants from the neighboring countries, whether it's Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia for sure. So there's a lot of movement around. And we're all nomadic people, basically. But the attachment of the Jews to the land of Israel is a very well documented one, and we shouldn't have to apologize. And that's why I really loved the song that Kobe sang, and he said, I stand tall, I'm not giving up, right? If I remember the words. And it's important that people take responsibility, for sure. But what was the thing with Madonna? I mean, I could have sang better. They should have invited me. I would have done it for much cheaper. Madonna, sorry, I didn't realize she can't sing. It's really sad when a person can't sing. I just hope she didn't cost $1 million, but she probably did. I don't see... Yeah, the message Palestine and Israel is a nice one, but the problem is it's just too much. The leadership of the Palestinian people is just not one that we can actually expect to accept a Jewish entity here. And our existence here is just crazy. It's crazy. Today I encountered a woman who went crazy really and started to scream around and attack a person. And it's a wonder no more people go crazy here, because it's so hard to find a balance in this place. All of a sudden can be a siren eating dinner, siren. How can somebody disrespect Israel so much after this amazingly, Israel invested so much. It's this need to please others and always to gain popularity, and people love us. But you know what? Whoever's going to love you is going to love you anyway. And I don't think loving anyone is a losing game, because as they say, it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. I think the people that really love, even those that are victims of crimes, domestic violence, they're so much in a better place and a higher place than those that give up and consider that loving someone is a losing game. Yes, sometimes you have to calculate whether the love you invest is leading anywhere. That's for sure, but you know what? Don't regret loving anyone. Regret that you don't love yourself. Regret that you don't think about what's good for you enough. But never regret loving anyone. That's not a problem. The problem is when you don't love yourself and you put other people before you. And that's what I want to say. I really wish Italy would have won, or Denmark with a beautiful song. Italy had a beautiful song with a lot of meaning. France also. We need to embrace this multiculturalism, and I think in Israel we're working on it, but there's much more multiculturalism than when I lived in Europe, that's for sure. Not everywhere, of course, but I think the reason people reacted so badly to the Palestinian flag is because it does bring associations with terror, a very low energy of destruction. And it's really hard. It's definitely a horrible conflict, but it's like you don't go into a domestic violence situation, intervene, and support one side. If people are fighting, the best way is to just embrace. And the problem is, if one side is extremely violent and not willing to accept anything, any talks, I guess you could say that about Israeli Zionists as well. I don't know. Even I get really into trouble when I try to talk about the conflicts. So let's love, and let's realize love is never a losing game. Peace, light, and love from this beautiful, beautiful place. Can you see it? Do you see this canoe? This beautiful animals. Loving you is a winning game. Loving you is a winning game. Loving everyone is a winning game. Remember this phrase: no one is my enemy, and I'm nobody's enemy. Peace, light, and lots of love.